You really do got to be an old hand with dealing with artificial intelligence, psychological military operations, in particular corporate military-run operations. Okay, I am special forces, absolutely. And so one of the things that I do, because I experience so much because of my accelerator and the sensitivity that I have for everybody that's here, one of the reasons why I keep my mouth shut and I don't talk, because it's like I already know your reaction state because of how much resistance is still held within your cellular memory. And I certainly don't want to increase your resistance. Instead, I want to heal the resistance that you have by the amount of love that I have for everyone that's here. So now we're into the art of communication, right? It's one of the reasons I work behind the scenes. I'm not trying to make a name for myself. I'm not trying to get on the stage. I'm not trying to blow my horn and get a lot of attention. Quite the opposite. So this is, again, a qualifier that I put up a long time ago, which is this: I do not invalidate anything that anybody has to communicate, whatever they're aware of, whenever they're aware of it, and they communicate it, and I become aware of it. Now I become aware of what you're aware of. There's only one law, which is one metric, which is it what love is? Because if it's what love is, it's what I am, which is the one. And the easiest way to measure that is the communication that we translate. If it's fear-based, it's not love-based. Therefore, it's not what I am. That's pretty simple. Therefore, everything that comes up that is designed on a YouTube channel, a Rumble channel, a newspaper, a billboard, a traffic sign, a traffic signal, a sign in the sky, whatever it might be, anything that is not represented by what love is, as a signal, communication, translation code, then it's not what I am, which is what love is. That's a simple translation. Okay? That means we are the law. No exceptions. You either know what you are, which is what the law is, which is the law of spheres, which is the center point of a gyroscope, or you don't know what you are, which isn't. So what are you? So when you're mapping this as a child, you're mapping what is and what isn't, what love is. So when I see anything that represents what fear is in my mirror, that's its mirror, not my mirror. That's what they're communicating. They're communicating what is fear-based, which is what they fear, which is who we are. So they want us to experience the fear in them in order to lower the vibration in us. That's just like elementary school stuff, right? Now we're back to a video I did about identity functions, right? So when you become aware of what you're aware of, now I'm aware of what you're aware of. Okay, so what are you aware of? Information. Okay, so that information, if it represents what love is, cool. You and I are both experiencing what love is in that communication. If you're experiencing something that is different than that as a result of an experience that you've had that isn't what love is, then I know it's not what I am. Which is the one. These are known as code translations. It's just that simple. So now you get into the purifying section of it, right? And so it's one of the reasons why so many hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos that are communicating with titles on them, right? Okay, well, if you're not wasting your energy, there's got to be some, if you're an experiential learner, it's much like Alex Collier said, when one of his mentors talked about experience. Experience is a teacher, therefore we are experiential learners. If you've already learned something that you don't need to learn anymore, then you're simply repeating the same experience, which means the message from which you're experiencing what that message is telling you is a repeated pattern of a lesson that we didn't learn already. In knowing who we are and what we're not by the journey and the pathway that we took to learn through. So if you are what love is, then you're already home. It means you've learned to become what love is, because love is what you are. You are the one. You're experiencing a pure love vibration, which is the purest light because it's purified by the fire. So if you're not experiencing what love is, then you realize that you're in an environment in which you realize you're experiencing something that isn't what love is. So therefore, if you want to be what love is, because that's what you know that you are, which is what love is, then you'll burn off anything that isn't what love is, because you know that that's a lower signal vibration or frequency that you now become aware of with your antenna. So now we're into antennas, and now we're into antenna wars, which are DNA wars. Between what? Seeded races. See, the difference between them and us, since I am the one, is they live in fear of who we are, right? So control is their dilemma. It's not our dilemma. Love is what frees us. They don't experience what love is, which is why they're not free, which is why they want to control everything that they're not in love with in their own mirror. So we're talking about mirrors, gates, mirrors. What's in your mirror? Do you love what's in your mirror? If there's something in your mirror that you don't love, then there's something about you that you don't love. That's how mirrors work. That's how magnets work. So when you're the one, we're giving love to all creation. So when we experience a difference between what is and isn't love, and they fear what we are, because they feel that they have to control everything that they don't love, it's because they don't love who they are, because they're not what we are, because they don't experience what we are, which is what love is. That's the resistance game. That's why they have to sell everything, because they perceive the world through the matter lens, by the density that they prefer to experience, which is their mirror, which is based on the mass. That's the name of the game. It's a resistance game. So you had to know, I shouldn't say had to know, but I certainly knew when I was a child, because you can read the timelines. When you're the one, which is the center point of a sphere, or all creation, because you're experiencing eternal love through your heart, it's easy to know what the future is by virtue of the mathematics. That's based on the codes that you're translating through the planetary consciousness system, which is the software, of the direction that the most units of energy are going in. So you knew that the Allied troops and the one were going to be back. Of course, they knew that. So they knew they were in a race against time. That's why they were rolling out everything that they were rolling out as fast as they possibly could. And if you want to look at it in modern times, that I became aware of it, and I've mentioned this many times, not only since childhood, but particularly what I call markers, flags in a timeline. IBM Watson. Okay?